So guys, it's officially Monterey Car Week. We are on the way to Monterey and we're already seeing our first spot and we're still probably about 3 hours out. But look at this red Diablo VT Roadster. It is a later car with the open headlights. Has these like chrome wheels. I think it almost kind of looks like SV wheels, but this color is so freaking sick. The red looks so good on the car and it kind of has like the 6.0 wing. This is a great start. We're still so far away from Car Week. So according to 6 cars right here, this is a Momo edition. I don't really know too much about that, but man, it looks so freaking good. The red Diablo is one of my favorite cars. Guys, if somehow we're ever super successful on YouTube, you will see me with a Diablo. And man, the open headlights look so good. Like I say, open headlights on any car that has the option for it usually means it's the better variation of the car. But guys, we have another 3 hours to go. We're going to get to Car Week. We're going to see some insane cars today. So make sure you watch this whole video because from morning to night, we're going to be full of cars. And make sure to subscribe because every day until the end of Car Week, you're going to be getting a video every morning of what we do, all the cars we saw. And it would honestly mean the world to me if you guys subscribe. It's all I'm trying to do. And I'm really trying to give you guys the best videos possible and the best coverage if you guys could not make it out to Car Week yourselves. We are at Ocean Ave and there's a little blue Dino here. Pretty cool to see. Cool spot for the Monday, but at the end of the week, honestly, we probably won't even have time to really look at these, but it's a cool car. Ferrari 16M here in Carmel. Just starting a car spot again. This is, by the end of the week, going to be completely filled with supercars every day. So make sure, again, if you're not subscribed, subscribe because all we're going to do for the next week is just pretty much hunt for supercars. So a 911 Dakar. We're still looking for some hypercars, but it is the first day. We will find them. I guarantee you that. Rev Alto right here. Decent spot. And another one. And also an STO. So again, it's still picking up. I'm sure we're going to see some hypercars today, but this is something you don't see a lot because there was a stop sale on these. So you really just see the old ones now. The people that bought these either couldn't pick them up or had to return them. So it's very select few that actually got to keep their cars. This one actually has some Brabus bits on it. I think it may have been here last year, but these are becoming extremely rare, even though there was a lot of hype on them at first. Okay, so picking up a little bit, we got an SVJ Roadster, but again, if you remember yesterday's vlog, we must have seen 8 or 9 of these. So not too impressed by this. It's a cool car, but not peak Car Week at all. Behind it is the SF90. Same thing, great performance, but just not too rare yet. Now that's a good old casual Car Week leap. Random 911 Speedster in the parking lot. This is honestly a great Car Week car with the top down, fun manual, and honestly really rare. Finally, we found something. Let's go look at it. Here it is, P1 chassis number 2 from Toronto. So we've seen this car on the channel a bunch of times. Familiar with the car got driven all the time around the city, full carbon body, chassis number 2, and chassis number 2 Senna was actually the matching spec of this. But look at this crazy interior, all green, but green wheels matching. First hypercar spot. Oh, I didn't even notice there's a LaFerrari right there, but come on, starting off good. Let's go. Yeah, didn't even see this all black LaFerrari. Looks absolutely mean. I honestly think these will actually look great with like a matte BPF, just matte black LaFerrari. I'm not a big matte black kind of guy, but on this car would look great. Got 2 out of 3 Holy Trinity right here. Starting off the day right. Took a second to get traction, but we got some cars. And I think they're just gonna put it on display, so it's probably gonna be sitting on here for the week. But that's gonna be pretty interesting to navigate to make sure it gets on perfectly. So first car kind of worth running for is this Mint F40. We saw this in Germany, if you guys remember, probably about a year and a bit ago. So yeah, the car spent some time in Europe and now it's here at Car Week. Hopefully someone's gonna buy it and it's gonna get driven around, but the only one in the world in this color, this is pretty sick to see. But yeah, kind of with the F40 is the Countach 25th anniversary. Now, here's the thing. Countach was kind of the competitor to the F40 when it came out. Price-wise is not even close. And the thing is, with the 25th anniversary, it's not the same level of cars as this, which makes sense why this is worth so much more. But I think peak version of the Countach won't get so much as to be the same price as an F40, but I think it's going to get close. And there they go. I think they go kind of up the street, loop back around and go into the building, but somewhat hit the road for now. Here it is. What a sick car. Very cool color on that car, and the blue interior too, which you never see on the F40s. Nice Ferrari 355. So our friend Keegan works here at RM Sotheby's and they have this crazy preview lot. Now he's letting us get access to see the cars up close 2 days before the starting preview. That's pretty crazy to us because we used to just wait for the second that the cars are kind of leaving from here or coming into here to just get a glimpse of them and maybe get a shot of them driving. But today we get a quick preview, so let's go through the cars, see the cool stuff that's here. First of all, this Bugatti Chiron Noir. Now, weird thing with this car, this was originally a Toronto delivered car, and there was actually 2 of them, which was kind of a rumor floating around, and everybody thought, you know, it was just a stupid rumor because how would you tell if there's 1 or 2? One day they both popped out in the same place, and there was 2 Toronto cars. Now only 1 left because this one is being sold. Next up is this 300 SL that looks like an absolute barn find, completely original. It is a roadster, so the doors open regularly. Then a pretty cool combo right here with this blue on-tan Countach and a 993 Carrera next to this white GT3 RS that apparently only has, I think, 18 miles on it. Here we have a Pista Piloti, so you had to, I'm pretty sure, race in Ferrari Challenge to buy one of these. This is really nice in this dark blue. Next to that is this 964 Turbo S. So here we have a 2.7 RS lightweight. The white with the blue looks so cool. These always bring huge money. Next to that is Steve McQueen's old 300. I think it's an SEL. Not too sure, but that's this old car right here. And here we have a Cosworth Evo 2 190E. These are now getting to like the, what, $500,000 range. Absolutely crazy, you know, meant to be a race car. These are just, you never see them. No, definitely not randomly on the roads. But here are the 2 Mercedes cars that I'm probably most excited about that are here. We have the CLK DTM and the CLK DTM Roadster. Now, these cars, I think a lot of people don't even know they exist, don't even know about them. But just like the Chrysler ME412 that I showed in the video a few days ago, these I kind of know from Test Drive Unlimited as well, from video games, right? So what's this 600 horsepower random CLK that came out, you know, in the mid 2000s? It's absolutely wild. And not only that, this is pretty much, you know, a crazy track car, but they made a roadster of that as well, which, you know, they only made 80 of these, but you go to all that extent to make the car as hardcore as possible and as fast as possible, and they still managed to fit a roadster with that as well. Here we probably have a lineup that summarizes the 90s insanity, because cars back then are so much more crazy and wild than they are now. So here we have a Vector M12. There's no need for me to even explain why this is crazy. You can just look at it and tell. Then here, this one is a prototype, the WX3 Coupe. So weirdly, the WX3 Roadster, which is right there, apparently had around 600 horsepower. But this, in the 90s, from the factory, no modifications needed, apparently was pushing close to 1,000 or even maybe a little more than 1,000. And here we have an EB110 Super Sport, the 12-cylinder, 4-turbo, crazy supercar, the predecessor to the Veyron and the Chiron that we know today, a lot more rare than those cars, the manual transmission. And next to that is probably the craziest of them all, the Shazetta V16T. I think this was roughly loosely based around the Gallardo, but this one has a V16, I think twin turbo or single turbo engine. And this one specifically, I believe, was owned by the Sultan of Brunei, who was, you know, the biggest car collector of all time with thousands and thousands of supercars. And there's only 9 of these made. This one in the blue with the blue interior, I am fairly certain that was from the Brunei collection. And right here is a white with white wheels. Literally, come on. Every Porsche we've been seeing recently is the same spec as mine. Obviously, this is a lot older than mine, so I can't really take the credit. But how good the Porsches look with the white on white. And on a 959, it looks so good. And I do think this car spent some time in Toronto. I remember seeing some ads for it when it first got there. Now, here we have a BMW Z8. We drove this on the channel quite a bit. We love this thing. It's the most solid feeling car I've ever felt. Honestly, these things feel more well built than any Rolls Royce, any Mercedes, anything else, honestly, that I've ever felt. This one, I think, only has like 18 kilometers, so even better than what we've experienced. And here is the stripeless 360 Challenge Stradale, the track version of the 360. Now, you know, almost every Ferrari we get kind of the regular version, then a track version, which is more light, stripped down, more power. This was one of the first major ones that really made an impact. And here we have kind of next up from that, we have a yellow 430 Scuderia, which was that version for Ferrari F430. But here is a very, very special car. This is a Ferrari 550 Barchetta, the V12 manual, open top, and numbered car. It ticks literally every box to be a Ferrari classic, to be a Ferrari future multi-million-dollar car. It's the last ever numbered Ferrari. This is the last one. After that, it just says one of whatever number you have. Here, it actually told you one number you are. It's an open top, it's a manual, and it's a V12. Literally, the most desirable things in a Ferrari are all here. And guys, this is honestly pretty cheap. I think like a few $100,000 gets you that, but gated manual car with a plaque in the middle with your number. How can you complain? Now, these are two cars that you really need to know what you're looking at to know why they're so special. So that was a 550 Barchetta. So the 550s all came with a gated manual. The 575 is the car that came after that, which kind of introduced the F1 transmission, which means even though a manual was available, most people did not select the manual. And way after that, something like this came out, the Ferrari 612. This is just a comfortable cruiser Ferrari with seats in the back. So naturally, people pick the F1 transmission for this. But the very few people that still wanted to change their own gears, they could have optioned it with a manual. And I'm talking very few people, probably less than 10% of production on both of these. And as you can see here, there's a gated shifter in this one. And more surprisingly, a gated shifter in this one. So here we have pretty much driver-focused cars on this top section. Except for this is more about comfort, but these two are very interesting. But first, Silver Carrera GT with a black interior, which is just naturally the best analog supercar ever made, and the last one too. But here we have the 575 Super America. This one has the carbon fiber roof, and again, these are the top that kind of folds back like this. Most of them, again, like I told you with the 575, they were the F1 transmissions, but about 15% of the production came with the gated manual. So everything in this collection is the gated manual. And especially on the other side, you guys already know the most famous Ferrari for being like the craziest, most rare gated manual car is the 599, and we have one here. So guys, now we're at the RM Sotheby's auction parking lot. This is kind of like the secret parking lot when you go to Car Week. You can't really get down there and see what there is. You're always wondering what kind of crazy cars are being kept down there. And huge thanks to Keegan from RM Sotheby's for letting us come down here and film some of the cars. I gotta show you guys, this is honestly the craziest garage during Car Week, and a lot of the cars already kind of moved to the building, but a lot of cars are gonna stay here. And if you wanna know how crazy this place is, in the corner we just have a random Formula One car thrown around like it's nothing. This is just the top corner. We have 2 more floors of this, so let's go check it out. So yeah, we have here a Michael Schumacher Ferrari Formula One car. The nose of it is actually downstairs. We're gonna see it a bit later, but again, I don't know too much about Formula One. I'm not a huge F1 guy, but you can't just walk down a random parking lot where you see regular cars over there and see a Formula One car and expect there to not be anything else further down. So now we're gonna go see what else we have here, and yes, you see that poking out right there. Let me show you. So here we have another Formula One car, because you just kind of do see these things at Monterey Car Week. But this is a Mercedes Formula One car. I wish I could tell you guys more details. I'm not an F1 guy. I'm sorry about that. But this is still crazy to just see here. As you can tell, there's just rows of cars. I'm going to take you through the highlights and the cars that I know and like. Obviously, starting with this, the Ferrari F50. The V12, like I said before, but Ferrari 550 V12, open top, manual car, and numbered. But the difference is, this V12 is mid-engine. This is the absolute hypercar. This was the top of the line Ferrari back in the day, and now it's arguably the most desirable out of the Ferrari Big Five. We have one right here. Then we have this blue Testarossa and a paint to sample green 911 Sport Classic. One of my favorite Porsches to drive. If you guys remember the review we did on one, it's just the perfect car, manual, turbo, rear-wheel drive, and it's so comfortable. And honestly, I think the gearbox is better than the new GT3 in my opinion, from my experiences. Here we have a Saleen S7, personally owned by Steve Saleen. And again, these cars you just never saw before. Most people know them from video games, so seeing it in real life is very special. It is very much just a car you would hear about and not really see, and people won't really talk about it. And it kind of grew to be a classic, where in the beginning it was just kind of this unknown. Here we have this black duo of a speedster, and honestly one of the nicest 300 SL roadsters that I have ever seen. Fully black with the wheels as well, because back then not a lot of people did black wheels on cars, but all black including the roof. And this tan interior, or brown interior I should say, looks so good. So here, you guys, if you know anything about classic cars, you know what this is, a 250 Testarossa. These are probably worth what, 20-30 million dollars. This is not going out for the auction today, but it will be, I think, available for private sales separately from this auction. But it's so cool to see this car here. Let's keep going down here and see what else they have, because there's some very, very special cars here. So look at this red 300 SL Roadster. We saw the old black one on the other side over there, but here's a red one with the red wheels. Same kind of brown interior, but this one has the cloth top and it's tan. The difference of color makes to this car is gigantic. They both look great, but it kind of gives the car a different persona when it has a different color like that and it's completely blacked out. You see these cars usually in colors or in bright colors. Now, this is a 250 California short wheelbase. This was actually the prototype, I think, in Geneva. He told me that they unveiled it, but this car came in this Nardo Gray when it was brand new before. This color was kind of cool and everybody was using it. This was the original color of the car. The car is completely original, and I think the estimate is like $18 million. let's keep walking down and see. Again, I'll tell you the cars that I know about. I don't know too much about everything, but I'll show you what I do. One of my absolute favorites here is this yellow Miura. The Miura just looks so good. It's like so small when you see it in person. It's honestly tiny, but something about the shape of it that you just want to stand here and look at this car forever. It just, at some point in my life, if everything goes to plan and I become as successful as I would like to be, this will be in my garage. So now we're inside the main building. They haven't finished setting up here. There's going to be a huge display and thousands of people coming to look at the cars that are going to be auctioned this weekend. But we have a quick early access. So we have this AC 427 Cobra, but next to this is something with a very cool story, because again, we looked at the Shazetta that was a Brunei car, and as you can tell by the spec, blue on blue with a blue top, this is also a Brunei car, but it's one of 3 Testarossa Spyders, and I'm not sure if the Testarossa Spider was specifically made for Brunei, but I wouldn't be surprised. Another factor of why you can tell that this is a Brunei car is the right-hand drive. Next to that is the Mint F40. We've looked at this today earlier. We looked at this in Germany, I think, or Austria, wherever it was, about a year ago. But here, we saw this driving. This is the LP640 Roadster. And unlike almost any other LP640 Roadster in the world, this one has a gated manual transmission, which, as you guys are seeing, is kind of the theme to this year's auction. A lot of gated manual cars, but the estimate for this at 1.25 to 1.75 will make you wonder, what would a manual SV actually sell for, and what's the demand for these cars like? Because that's Bugatti money for a Lamborghini Murcielago. That is absolutely crazy. The world's starting to appreciate the manual cars. So we got one more room to check out. Again, there's going to be more cars here when the auction starts, and we will come back here to look at them. But here we have a Heritage Ford GT, very cool. So the Golf blue with the orange livery, and then here an SLR 722S Roadster, one of 150. The 722S is the convertible. The regular 722 is the coupe. Here we have a 993 Turbo S. The S honestly makes this car more than double what the regular turbo costs. This is super rare. I'm not sure the exact units of cars made, but it is so much more rare than a regular turbo. The only visual difference is, from what I know, the little intake here on the side, the regular turbo does not have that. Then we have this 935, which is pretty much like a track GT2 RS, a lot lighter, a lot more aerodynamic, just an absolute monster. And here we have an LM 002 in this like olive military green kind of tricolor stripe, Miura inspired wheels on an LM 002. Definitely like the opposite scale of what kind of car this is. The interior is so clean in this cream, but look at how wide this car is. Look at how much room is between the seats, even in the back. But man, this is such a badass car to drive. I would love to try one of these one day. You know, crazy. Then we have a Ferrari Dino. I'm not too sure about this. BMW M1, the first real like M car, the only M supercar really that's ever been made. This looks like a very tailor-made SF90 Spider, the 1,000 horsepower hybrid, but man, the amount of details on this car, the blue with the black livery or black stripes with the yellow, the inside, I have never seen another Ferrari with the yellow crest on the headrest. I mean, this is so customized with the full carbon kind of bucket seats. These are so cool, but everything here looks very, very custom made on this spec. Then, car that means a lot to me, not this one specifically, but in general, 997 GT2. The first video I ever made on my YouTube channel, I was driving a yellow one of these. And again, now this is kind of my whole passion of what I like to do. So it all started with a car like this. Across from that, car people kind of forgot existed. It's this 911 Speedster 991.2. This is from the famous white collection that sold, I think, a few months ago. White wheels, white car. Obviously, you guys know I love that. But the blue interior is what gets me with the white piping. This is so custom, like so many CXX options. There's not another one in the world like this. Yeah, so here we have this one owner Shelby Cobra. Now, the crazy part about this is, think about it. One owner, it's 2024 right now. This is a 1964. Someone owned this car for 60 years, and man, did they enjoy it. 140,000 miles on a car like this. It raced all the time, got driven all the time. You can see it's got some wear and tear right here, which I guess 60 years and 140,000 miles is expected the car to have a little bit of, you know, kind of personality with the dings and scratches on it. So amazing to see. This one is the only car that doesn't have a price estimate on it, because honestly, who knows, it could be the most expensive car ever sold because the miles and everything, or it could be the cheapest because it's used. But it's going to be very interesting to see on, I think, Friday or Saturday what this sells for. And then here we have a Sport Classic white on matte white. The wheels are white, everything is white, but man, these are such fun cars, and all white on this car is, I like this thing. This is honestly a great driver. I don't know if anybody's going to drive this that buys it, because I think it's delivery mileage, but probably the best looking Sport Classic I've ever seen.